events here, such as Misk Art Week and Misk Art Institute, which is fantastic, going to other restaurants as well. But
also, Saudi food is coming with the experience. Yeah,
it really is.
If you have the chance to share it with Saudi people sitting on the floor and then having the big dishes in the middle of the table, it's just also making the food taste better.
It's lovely. But that says it all. The big dishes in the table it's all about sharing.
We feel so safe that already we don't have the anxiety of a lot of things that we have back home. For example, parking the car. Did I close my door? Can I walk at night in this place?
It could be new work. It could be work going out for exhibition as well. I just see a pace picking up.
Yes,
that's all.
Absolutely.
It's just, it was already pretty speedy.
Yeah.
But, and I think it's quite terrifying actually for some, because here we think, oh no.
Hello, Sarah. How are you? Thank you very much for coming and joining us today for an episode of Rihla with Cecilia. So we are very enthusiastic about knowing about you, about your career path here in Riyadh, and how the culture and hospitality of the country was saw by yourself at the beginning, and how it make you obviously stay.
Yes.
So, Sarah, we would like to know a little bit more about you. Where are you from? What job, and whatever you want to tell us about yourself.
Okay, well, thank you for inviting me. I know we've tried to speak together and meet for quite some time. So it feels very natural that we're having our first conversation almost in front of a camera, really. I moved here 5 years ago. I head up the Constant Art, the art consultancy arm of Constantine KSA. My career has always been in the arts. I've sort of gone from auction house to private galleries, or large international private galleries, and then moved increasingly into the public realm. At times when it wasn't as sort of popular and respected as it is now, in fact. And then over the years, I was working and writing on strategies and large city centre development art programmes and the delivery mechanisms for that. And I've worked in the region now probably for just over 20 years, but never been based there. I've just done periods of time where I've been working on things, where it's been a citywide master plan or the public art strategy to fit within a master plan, and that work's expanded. And so had this opportunity, and working with Constantine, who are a company that has been registered as a Saudi company now for 8 years or more, I think, here. It's a fine art logistics company, so they do a huge amount of work all across the country, shipping, logistics, import, export, and everything like that, which I have never done. It's not my field at all. But Paul Williamson, who's the CEO, recognised that there was a synergy for the art consultancy and that growing. In fact, he recognised about opening up in Saudi because the company is established 150 years ago in the UK, but working globally.
So you're from England, yes?
I'm from England, yes originally, but travelled and worked internationally a lot. Probably my accent might give it away a little bit.
I just wanted to confirm,
Yes, I'm from England, and Saudi now, I feel. I feel very much at home. Each time, I'm heading off here, I sort of almost wishing that I wasn't leaving. And then when I get home, I enjoy home.
But happy to come back.
But really happy to come back. And I've never felt hesitant at all. In fact, when I moved here having never been to Saudi before. But I knew I could see the energy and developments, and I followed quite a few artists on Instagram, and that's certainly through social media how you discover a lot of artists, certainly if you're not in the country, and then you're lucky enough to be word of mouth or just meet at different events and things. And although I could sense this energy and obviously see these extraordinary things that were in development and were changing here, I've always loved the Arab culture, whatever. But since I've arrived here and been able to meet people and chat to people with the broadest interest, not just arts and culture, I mean, it's an amazingly friendly place. I've always felt incredibly comfortable. I've never had.
So if you have to compare, because you mentioned earlier that you've been around the region for a couple of years before setting up here in Saudi Arabia, what would be the click? What makes you actually feel that comfortable? Is it the people, or is it the I mean, I think everything can be linked, but don't you think that the people here make Saudi being
absolutely the people? I absolutely feel comfortable and happy. And
from day one. Never came here before, and then day one.
I would be lost, horribly lost, hopelessly lost in places, and I never hesitated to ask, say, could you help me? And I got lost in Abha, actually, and met two ladies. We went through, Google Translate or something like that, not ChatGPT, which would have been a better idea. But we figured it out. We communicated, and now, I've got their numbers and said, when you come back, come for coffee.
Yeah, this is also with Saudi people. Once you meet them, you become a friend, and then you keep contact with them.
And the number of lovely invitations that I've had into a home and to chat and to meet families. And then also an eagerness to meet my family when my family are here as well.
Yeah.
And so much so, I mean, I'm always saying to people, come and stay, you'll love it. Or my three children have all come here. They're obviously grown up and doing their own thing, but have all come here and loved it to the extent that out of sheer luck and coincidence, my eldest son was approached about a position in Saudi, and he now lives here in Al-Ula, which is
amazing,
absolutely fantastic. My daughter works on projects here as well. I'm just working on my youngest son at the moment.
You bring the whole family through your eyes, obviously, because this is what makes them.
They feel really comfortable. I mean, and then are planning when to come back. That's it's really
Saudi
nice.
Effect.
It
Once
is the Saudi
you're
effect.
Here, you don't want to go anywhere.
A huge comfort in your experiences and saying, "Come on, let's go and have a look at this." I mean, I don't speak Arabic. I'm picking up things, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't actually. But I will also be driving around and I'll see somewhere that I think, oh, that looks interesting, and I'll pull in.
Yeah.
And I'll go and have a look.
Yeah.
And invariably there's some little gem of a place that I found, or extremely beautiful inside.
And you also stop because you know that in any matters you will be welcome. So this is something also, I think, very different between you're from UK, I'm from France. This is potentially something we will not do in our own country because it's our own countries.
Exactly.
So yes, I think that you have the very good point here that the culture for you first was through social media, and then you were lucky enough to take your everything and come here and experience by yourself, and now you are the one who give the word outside people in your own country or in general that Saudi is maybe not what people think. And so this is also something that we will talk about is the art. Because the art is actually something that put the culture in some visual items or visual exhibition. That's something we can actually show outside. The Saudi culture and pattern is very colorful. So it's a way of telling the outside world that Saudi is not as maybe dark that they think. So what kind of art from the time you arrive and now, you see that is expanding inside the country and also outside the country. I mean, like, do you think that there is more impact into the fashion or painters, public art? Now there is some Saudi artists also going abroad.
Yeah, I mean, everything is just expanding and exploring. And what I was overwhelmed with this extraordinary talent that's here.
Yeah.
And just waiting for these opportunities, eager for these opportunities. But the level of talent is already there. It's just about finding these outlets and sharing this information. And and opportunities, which is a word that can be sort of so positive. Oh, it's a wonderful opportunity, but then it's also very difficult because these opportunities have such tight constraints at times.
Yeah.
And so I know I will probably be talking about this more with you as well, but it's also been able to support earlier career, mid-career as well, because there are some unbelievably talented artists here who have international recognition already.
Yeah.
And obviously that needs to keep going, you
Absolutely.
know, more museum shows, more solo shows and things like that. But I see, you know, there's wonderful things happening with the fashion. I'm an observer on that. I work in the arts. So I see this energy. I mean, I see that there is a significant Saudi presence at all the major arts events internationally. That on events, you know, like the Venice Biennale, you know, there's the pavilion there. It's beautiful each time, inspirational. There's always something written about it. You know, the Osaka Saudi Pavilion has obviously got huge acclaim, lots to be said about there. And I know that I know a few artists, and there is a program where artists are going out there from here to talk about their work, share their practice, to be able to spend time to get to know people. So all of this is happening. I mean, if we put it into context, and I may have the data slightly wrong, but the Ministry of Culture was established in 2018.
Oof.
And I think the same for the Visual Arts Commission. But if you think about it, a lot of the things that's happening internationally are within a framework that's sort of like been going for decades, centuries. And here it's an unenviable task, I think, for those that are creating that framework, but they're doing it sort of aware of that sort of global examples there. And but the speed it's going is extraordinary.
They were just waiting for something, and the something is happening. Yeah,
exactly. It's like more and more. And I mean, I'll take an example. This is when I first came and continue to go to events here, such as MISC Art Week and MISC Art Institute, which is fantastic, and it just gets bigger and more impressive and wonderful each year. At various of these events, I've chatted to some of the guides that are there who will always step forward and say, would you like to know more about the artist? Would you like to know more about the artwork? Which is lovely.
Yeah.
I always said yes, because I love the energy and the enthusiasm. And the passion that they have. But I'd ask them, say, oh, are you studying, you know, the arts or architecture or something? I mean, I've probably lost count of the number of times that those guides have said to me, oh, no, and they're in some completely different field. I think I met someone who worked in a science lab, someone who was a pilot, that they just wanted
to share,
to be involved, to see these things. So I will be sweeping, but internationally, a lot of people can be very casual about the arts, and because it surrounds us already. Even if you're working in it, they say, oh, there's this exhibition that's open, I'll go at some point. You know it's around the corner, and we get blasé and it's closed.
Yeah.
We miss it.
Yeah.
Or we just take this in. But here, when there's an event, the attendance is extraordinary.
Yeah.
It's really inspiring. I mean, with public art projects, like, you know, Abdul Nasser's sports boulevard work, which is just so captivating and just appeals to the widest audience. It does everything, everybody knows it.
Yeah.
You pick out things about it. People do. So there's this huge sense of pride.
Absolutely, yeah.
Huge sense of pride. And I think that's also with people being so friendly here. They're also incredibly keen to share stories of heritage.
Yeah, because I think they are very proud of the roots and the culture, and this is also why they are very happy to share with us. Especially if I would say that we are foreigner, we don't know much because of the statue of the media when it's coming to maybe Saudi Arabia in our country. So we come here a little bit adventurous, and then we found all the doors open, and we finally learn a lot about the country just because of the passion and the enthusiasm of the people around us just by being Saudi. Yeah?
Absolutely. And I think that even I know that having worked in the wider region, when I arrived here, I had some preconceptions.
Yes, understand.
Anxieties because I was coming on my own initially as well.
Yeah.
But they get brushed.
Yeah.
They go, immediately. I mean, I had friends saying, do you have to wear an abaya? Do you have to be covered? I say, no, I don't have to wear an abaya. And I know I'm not wearing one today, but I love them. And I get it.
Yeah. This is also very interesting.
Beautiful.
That is the first question coming up to the mind of the people from outside. It's coming to the way of being dressed. They will not go for the first question like, are you safe? Is your job okay? I mean, they could ask a lot of different questions about the culture or the lifestyle before asking about the abaya thing, yeah? So now if we talk about food, are you a Saudi food lover?
I really am.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So deep in the culture.
It's a problem.
Yeah?
It's a problem, frankly.
It's a problem.
Although I don't eat red meat.
Yeah.
So, there are certain things that I can't have. And embarrassed to say I've never starved.
Yeah.
The food is exceptional.
Yeah.
It really is. I prefer Saudi food.
Yeah.
That's my preference. I love going to other restaurants as well, but
also Saudi food is coming with the experience. Yeah,
it really is.
If you have the chance to share it with Saudi people sitting on the floor and then having the big dishes in the middle of the table, it's just also making the food taste better.
But that says it all. The big dishes in the table it's all about sharing. It's not about us sort of getting one individual plate and you look at that.
Sharing is caring, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I would like Sarah, please, to go back a little bit more about public art, because maybe some people are not very aware about what public art is and what is the difference between public art and obviously the conventional art that you might see in a museum or in an art exhibition. So would you explain us a little bit in general what is public art and maybe mention some of your projects for us to have an idea about what we are talking about?
Yeah, delighted to. Public art, I think, has different translations for everybody in a way.
Yes.
Obviously, it is art in the public realm. So it can also be considered to be those sculptures that we might all know, statues, something that celebrates a person or an event or something. But the public art that I work in is it is referred to as site-specific art.
Okay.
It'll be new work that's commissioned. So what's quite different is that whilst an artist will have their vision and their inspiration and that work will be realised in some media that is shown in the public realm, it's generally accessible to the public.
Yeah.
And whilst museums and galleries are also accessible to the public, it demands from people that interest, I suppose, to say, I'm going to visit this gallery. Or sometimes these galleries can be particularly daunting and they might not even feel comfortable to go into the gallery.
Absolutely.
Whereas with public art, this is art that is in everybody's space.
Yeah.
And so I can guarantee you that not everybody will love something.
Yeah.
And possibly people will really dislike something
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But site-specific is so that it has a relevance to its place, where it's situated, and to people as well. So I always hope that in writing strategies and commissioning work as well, that this work that is to be realised has a particular reference to that location specifically, so that it taps into that pride. And ideally, and this is always something that I'm trying to sort of build into strategies and encourage, is that the artist should be given time to be able to find ways to engage with communities that will be enjoying this work on an everyday basis, whether it's someone going in an office or coming out of their home or, in a local park or space. To be able to learn from them, to understand, so that their research into, what they would like to design and their concept ultimately is also informed by the place, stories that people will share.
So when you say commissioned, that's mean you will call out some artists on a specific location, specific theme, and potentially specific kind of art. Like if we talk about the sculpture, will be stone carving, and then they will provide you with a storyboard, with a design, and then you will make a selection from this.
So there are lots of different methods that we can follow, and for different projects we will recommend different processes. So it could be, if it's some enormous sculptural monumental artwork, that it would be an invitation. They want some big name. And that will sometimes be determined if we're, whether it's it's going wide, internationally, to consider those artists. That will be an invitation. Then there are limited invitations, so that sort of will reduce that. But then, for us as art consultants, one of the what we can do when we work with other curators, I also curate, but increasingly now it is more about delivery on that and supporting that curatorial, is that we can develop a proposal of lists of artists to put forward who have either the experience, the knowledge, potentially work in the medium that is wanted, who could do this project. But this is where I'd quickly like to sort of add that what I'm always trying to advocate is that maybe on these big developments and many projects, where there is going to be a commission in the public realm, to build in time, to allow earlier career artists the opportunity to be able to learn and develop their work, to be able to create a concept design. But coming along with all of these will be that there's an art consultancy, and so that's where we will also step in, and I'll work from the emerging artists, where we have that knowledge and expertise to support artists in how to present their artwork, because you can't hand a beautiful sketch, however beautiful it is, to a developer, because they will think, well, I haven't done anything permanent, I've never seen this. They will not be able to approve moving forward with that artist. But if we support them in the development of their design, so that they provide this with some, maybe up to the point of engineered drawings, details on materials, cost, etc., then that gives the reassurance. They might not have actually delivered anything of that scale or in steel, for example, but we know who to put them in touch with, how to develop that. We'll bring in engineers, we'll introduce them to fabricators. But for those that already know that, we'll work with that and support that and bring all of that together. But public art doesn't have to be sculpture. So
please, this is also another question. Can you tell us what else could it be? Because when we think about public art, we can imagine this big statue of Fontaine, and then it's becoming an highlight spot. Like sometimes we will say, oh, let's meet art, and we are not talking about the place, we are
Exactly.
talking about the art piece. So can you tell us what else besides sculpture?
So, to expand on that, yes, you're absolutely right. These artworks in the public realm, I think when they're particularly successful, people will say, "I'll meet you at."
Yes, yes.
You know, it's become a meeting point.
Yes.
It's recognised as something
It's
else.
recognised.
But it is something that is in people's psyche, that it is a landmark to them.
It
So
is.
it's an artwork talking to them. Even if it's just a meeting place, they'll have had some sort
Yeah.
of emotion about it. So that artwork has been successful.
Yeah.
But the other areas of arts in the public realm, and increasingly we're seeing more and more forms of media
Yes.
and expression. But for example, it could be etching into a walls, or etching into pavement, or something inset into pavement. It could be detailing by, you know, a craftsman, a woman, where it could be the detail from various textiles or subtle features like that. For example, in London and now everywhere, you might even see artist painted and designed pedestrian crossings.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
unique. That's public art as well.
Yeah.
So people might not necessarily recognise that
Yeah.
as public art, but there's this subtlety in that. So therefore, what I also should say is it doesn't always have to cost a fortune.
Understand.
And so those don't, but obviously behind that design is an artist
Yeah.
who is a professional,
Yeah.
must always be paid for their designs and their work, potentially studies and engagement with communities. So there's a much bigger sort of team
Yeah.
behind that one work. But yes, public art will just be sometimes little moments in, you know, around the city that you pick up. There was a lovely project in London where it's recognised for the blue plaques around, where it was, so if there's a famous person, it'll say so and so lived here. But an artist did a project where they worked with community, and there were sort of these quirky little messages where you recognised a blue plaque, but you sort of read it and it said something like, "I waited for my girlfriend for an hour in
Okay.
this corner," you know, wasn't permanent, but it was something that sort of just made you smile.
Yeah,
You know, and you
absolutely.
draw attention.
I think the art, and especially public art, as we said, it can have different purpose. We just mentioned about being a landmark, but as you just mentioned, it's also to give emotion, to give people the way of for imagination. Especially, I mean, here again, Saudi Arabia, I think, and Europe is very different, but somewhere in like this in London, I think people needs this kind of fresh air, little bit of a smile just for nothing, reading a small message on the wall. So this is the way of storytelling. We are saying something, but we also want to have an impact a little bit deeper on people.
Yeah.
So what is for you the level of emotional impact here in Saudi compared to Europe? People, are they emotional, or do they have this creativity when they see something in the street, for example, that
really means something to them?
Yeah.
I mean, two things jump to mind. Obviously, Jeddah
Yeah.
is known so well
Yeah.
for its roundabouts
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for its art. Nobody can be from, you know, grow up in Jeddah without
seeing it?
knowing that,
Yeah,
knowing it
absolutely, yeah.
at their core, and being proud of it as
Yeah.
well, of what the mayor brought in at that time. It's the roundabouts, but there's also an extraordinary collection of international work, as well as obviously locals. So that's a pride. There is a pride. It's intrinsic. You know, there's a joy of Saudi heritage and sharing that. Recently I was chatting to a Saudi colleague about King Khalid Airport, and she mentioned that the fountains there are a sense of home to her.
Okay.
You know, so that, whilst not a public art, but it is in the public realm.
Yeah.
That means something. So it's these things. So there are a lot of things that's why I'm saying when these commissions happen, we need to build in that time to do that research and speak to people.
Yeah.
Because we won't know.
No, absolutely.
You know, we don't know. We can't bring an artist in from anywhere unless, of course, they're from that specific area and expect them to know those. So asking questions will uncover something extraordinary invariably about heritage as well. And so I think that's what it is. And increasingly, obviously, as we're seeing all these incredible developments happening,
Yeah.
and walking and pavements and that,
Yeah.
you know, there are more and more.
Yeah.
I can imagine and I hope that these quirky moments, these little moments around that don't just have to be the large monumental work,
Yeah.
will start to be realised and commissioned around. Where maybe it's something sequential, leading you through. That
Yeah.
people will say, oh, you know, I really loved doing that. Weather's getting a bit nicer, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, so
And in your career or in the actual maybe project you're working on, is there any public art that we could call a little bit more temporary, like ephemer or pop-ups? Because if we understand exactly what public art, of course, it's not only statue, but it's something for long. It's
those
there.
are, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're the permanent ones, and there's a lot coming. You know, it's like
We are very excited about this.
And but what's been wonderful here is about generating that interest. So there are a lot of temporary events, short and fast, often,
Yeah.
or the presence in the public realm, like Nouriad.
Yeah.
You know, I think last iteration there weren't as many sites. I think entirely what their original intent or previously was to take the public art to the wider communities, but it just took so long to get there.
Yeah.
You didn't see everything.
Yeah.
So there were fewer locations,
Yeah.
as many artworks. But that has a phenomenal attendance.
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
phenomenal. And it's always intriguing artwork.
It is.
Always.
I'm
I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
I always want to go to things. They have wonderful curators that are working on that, so that's Nouriad, which is citywide. Another that we've worked on, I think we're all particularly proud of within the company as well, but also is a very important, globally important, and Saudi important project is Desert X in Alula. So it's a very short time that
Yeah.
these extraordinary works
Yeah.
are shown, but everybody knows it's on. Certainly those in the art world that will try to come over and see that. What RCU are doing,
Yeah.
you know, they're delivering a lot and constantly, and they're keeping that appeal and that interest, but that respect to the environment, to the site, to heritage where they can. I mean, always to the heritage. There'll always be some
Yeah.
relevance to the site. And then we see these amazing artworks.
True. Actually, you just said something very interesting. You said everybody knows. So
In the art world, possibly.
yeah, well, I mean, this is something very interesting you said, because if we, beside having the art event or the art public art or things like this, don't you think that there is a little bit of, I would say, lack of communication and marketing? Like, because you're very right, there is some specific event everybody knows. No Riyadh, nobody can not know. But there is so much, as you said, for the past, we are here for 5 years or so. There is lately a lot of cultural events, a lot of different festivals happening. I'm not talking only about Riyadh, I'm talking about outside Riyadh, you know,
Absolutely.
Qasim, Al-Asa, Medina, everybody is like a little bit on the effervescence moment. But when it's coming to communication, unfortunately, first of all, I think that there is some communication in Arabic that we don't have access if we don't speak Arabic. And on the top of that, I can feel, and I know because this is my part of the job in these things. It's like there is not much marketing about those events, so the access is very limited. And if we are lucky enough, or if the people that are lucky enough, they will know afterwards. So they will still have some information, but kind of too late. Do you think this is something you feel as well in your?
Absolutely, I think you've really hit on a critical point. I mean, all of us who in past, let's say, are working on Riyadh or Desert X, we know the deadline that we're working to, and we know it's not going to be moved.
Yeah.
But there's a frustrating amount where you'd think, what about the build-up?
Yeah.
What about sharing information about these artists, about their, or sneak previews, or maybe not a sneak preview if you're not, but sharing information about the artists would be such a great start.
Yeah.
To announce these events earlier, to allow people to plan and schedule and things to come. I know it was all quite quick. For example, Art Week Riyadh was a great event. It's always in one go. They have put itself on the the route of art fairs, and I had people contact me. Is it worth getting on a plane to come over? And I was going, yes, it's really very good indeed. And it's that fast. People having to be reactive and be able to just jump on a plane. For Desert X, you have to get a flight. It's quite difficult to get a flight and extremely expensive invariably to stay. So advanced planning would be a great thing. There's fantastic social media during and after the event.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's good, but
it would be lovely
to have those to
have the build up for it earlier, so that you can plan. More people can arrange to come here. More people can arrange to travel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Distances to come here. And there are some artists that have shown work where people would specifically get on a plane to come and see it.
Yeah,
they would.
And as you said as well, logistically speaking, we are talking about the time is money, because more you do last minute. And again, I mean, logistic in the country is still at the beginning. I would say the metro just opened. If we go to Alula, it's couple of flights, a couple of accommodations. So the whole trip, it's an expensive journey just to attend an event for a last minute. So even if you have the information little earlier, you might not come just because of this.
Yeah, and I mean, if there was some sort of diary that was updated regularly, that also linked in with things like events, sports events,
absolutely,
and Boulevard World, and all of these things, people could plan it.
Yes,
to travel around. But also, I should say, to come to your point about the other cultural events around Saudi, I hear things from you, from others. I'm searching all the time.
Yeah.
I'm on the sites that I thought where I'd find that information. Yeah. And I don't.
And it's very interesting as well, because there are excuse me. There are, I think, and by there I mean this kind of festival organizer, they are surprised that not more foreigner or people from outside the specific domain. Because, for example, I was in the lemon festival in Ofuf. Then, if you're around the lemon industry in Al Asa area, then you get the invitation, you know about this. But even if in this area, if you're out of the lemon industry somehow, you will not get the information. I get it because, as you mentioned, my social media is full of adventure, and I am lucky enough that my profile reach some people that organize this kind of event and want me to experience it, and if I want to share it on my social media. But when I go there, it's just like I feel again, it's like the setup is amazing. The day agenda, the days actually, because we are talking about few days. The days agenda is amazing. I mean, they have all ready, but the little thing missing is the marketing side of what they could have done for people to go and to, as you mentioned, to organize the go. Because those events, some of them, they are during the week, but a lot of them, they are during the weekend. So most of us, let's say, we don't work on weekend. Easy to take the train, stay for 2 nights, enjoy the Lemon Festival.
I would do it all the time. You know, I'd love that. I think I want to go around and explore and go. I'd like to get the train. I like to.
I take you with me next time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Thank you. And to just explore and discover places, because everywhere is just so unique. But also, wherever you go, these events are beautifully and brilliantly organised.
Nothing to say. It's
absolutely
Very
fantastic.
well organised. I mean, A to Z is smooth, and you are like, oh, we should have known, because sometimes we go to some other event that they potentially focus it a bit in the marketing, but operational, it's a little bit, So
I would love to be able to say to people, you must go.
Yeah.
Or I'm going, or something like that, because I know that more would do that. I suppose this is something else that I should say, that I do know quite a lot of expats who come here and they're working on major projects, and they will live in maybe a compound, and they go to the office, go to the compound office.
They don't see about
and they don't look any further.
Yeah.
I wonder whether if that information was accessible about where they could go, whether that would maybe be a step for them to sort of start to adventure out. I mean, equally could just be hopeless like that.
Yeah.
I think when we work in the arts and we're interested in the culture, we do get out
this is
and meet
also
the
another
people.
thing.
So
maybe
it's
what interests us maybe doesn't interest the others, but at some point we are all expats. We need to know where we live, I think, at least at the minimum. And we are talking about something that is not boring, going to the Lime Festival or going to the date auction in Bureida or Camel, festival.
This is very entertaining experiences.
Especially for the country here. This is how they explain us the culture, because as we mentioned before, we are not maybe good enough in Arabic language, but we understand the culture very well because it's very visual. You go to the Camel Festival, you understand camel, white camel, brown camel. You go to Lime Festival, they will explain you what they do with the lemon. It's just like the way for and the generous. You go there, I'm coming back, my car is full of gifts, it's they really want you to try, they want you to bring home, to make your friend try, and the only thing they have to say is next year please come again and come with your friend. So I think with all what we are saying now, the next step is maybe not on what we are working on and what we organize, but also the way of giving the information to the public.
I couldn't agree more. And I know that those who are doing these events are endeavouring to share. Once usually when it's open, what's happening. And it's lovely, and hopefully that will trigger for them for next year. But what about this?
Absolutely.
There's always more to share, and information and details. And I think the more that people see all of these events, that amazing events are happening, they think, actually, that is a place to go.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I see more, there's this to do and there's that to do. Because I think a lot of people will think Jeddah, Riyadh. Only.
True.
And that's definitely not the case.
Yeah, it's not.
If I mention Alula to some people, I know it. I know other places really well, but they'll go, oh, not a clue. They are all still new places, and it's, I don't know, it's an adventure.
So at the beginning of our talk, you said something beautiful, and I recognize myself in what you said when you said that you are going back to your country. And with the little insight that you don't want to leave Saudi, when you are in your country, you have good time, but you have this little, I'm happy to go back. And when you are back, you are like, finally, I'm back. What do you think? I mean, like, when you go back or when you go to UK, what do you miss from Saudi the most?
Oh, God, I really just miss everything about it. It's really hard to sort of put into context in a way. I enjoy, weirdly, looking at everything that's happening around me, the changing landscape. I can plan to go and do this, I can plan to do that. There's usually something happening all the time. I enjoy my work, as well, and because I get to meet a lot of people, and to work on interesting projects. It's all fascinating.
That's the thing.
I
You
like
have a
to
job
come
that
back.
that bring you also to why we are actually here, just to discover the culture and be in contact with all these very interesting organizations such as Alula authorities or Riyadh City or Noor Riyadh. I suppose you are also involved somehow, or at least your friends. So there is a lot of, for you, you are in the lucky seats, like you work and you enjoy as...
I do. So I come back and think, great, I'm going to really be able to focus on. But then when I go back to the UK, we also live outside of London. We live in the countryside. I was constantly just going straight back into the city. I know it's very beautiful where we live. They're really beautiful, but it's given me a new appreciation of it.
Yeah.
Because through my eyes, I can share things with friends here. Oh, this is lovely, and someone like, is that where you live? Is that so nice? I just think, yes, this is another home.
Yeah.
And I look forward to coming back here. But it's also when I close my door, that's my home too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel that same sense. I have filled our home with things from Saudi.
Yeah.
That, and then when I can, I'm taking things back as well. So things in Saudi in our home in the UK as well. I don't like empty walls.
Yeah.
So, there's always something to be finding and discovering. Lots of books to be reading, so I've got lots of books around as well. I'm not crazy about going shopping, I have to admit.
Yeah.
So, the weekends aren't me sort of hitting the shops or going around a mall or anything like that. I spoke to a friend recently who's just moved away from Saudi. Two, actually. One Canada, one Australia, and they both said, I'm not sure I might be coming back. In fact, I might be coming back. I loved living in Saudi. It's really, it's an easy place to live.
True.
It's a really easy place to live. And that's what they were missing. They were saying, it's so hard work.
Yeah.
We're having to do this, we're having to do that.
Yeah.
But there's a support system, of people and ease of access to find,
Yeah, it's very true. Actually, I have also a couple of friends, but one who popped up my mind that he left about 3 years ago, and then he was like, oh, never again. And then 1 year outside and come back. What make living in Saudi very appreciate is because we feel, I think in my case, we feel so safe that already we don't have the anxiety of a lot of things that we have back home. For example, parking the car. Did I close my door? Can I walk at night in this place? Should I take the metro? Should I call my father to pick me up? I mean, we don't really realize that, but this one is a big stress. Here, we don't have this stress. I mean, at least I don't. I will never be like looking at my watch and say, oh, it's this time, then I will not go out. It's a 24-hour, 7 days enjoyable lifestyle, being outside or inside.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, my whole everything tenses up a little bit slightly when I arrive back in London, checking my bags are right next to me all the time. I'm holding to my bags.
Yeah.
When I'm walking around in the city, I won't wear anything that is particularly valuable. And I probably would carry a different handbag or something like that, or certainly, or rather, should I say, on the other side. So because there is so many issues there, it's just part of your.
Yeah.
I don't think about it. I just do it.
Yeah.
Now that's the thing. But here, yes, you feel very safe, very comfortable. I still go off out because it's such a nighttime culture as well. It's still a shock to the system at times to come out at 11 and the streets are still heaving. But it's also intriguing You know, there are different places to explore to see with a day and a nighttime presence as well. So that's, you know, the day is probably much quieter. We're all in our offices.
Yeah.
But then
True.
it all changes, which is fantastic. But
so Sarah, tell us. So you've been here for about 5 years now. Do you see yourself staying more 5 years, more 10 years? Will you be here for the Vision 2030?
I hope so. I mean, I really do. I mean, it's 5 years. There's so much to happen in between then. And that will be quick. I like to be here to be part of the celebrations for it. I was very sad not to be here for National Day.
Yeah.
I just think everything that's done
Yeah.
is great. And I love the flags.
Yeah.
But yes, I truly hope so. We never came here with a plan of like, we'll do 3 years and then we're going. It's just not how I think anyway. And that's not how I think arts and culture function. But I do know a lot of people who've come here and said, I'm staying 3 years, and they do.
Yeah.
They just sort of do that. They have a different job and approach
and life
and everything. But I don't have a date in mind or a time when I'd go. I'm just very happy.
But we are talking long term, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are long term.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have any desire to go back.
Yeah, understand.
You know, at all. I love it. We'll always keep something there. You know, there's always that connection, and obviously family as well. But I feel like here, I'm glad to be back. I'm just getting my family over slowly, but shui.
Yeah, you're doing well. You're 2 out of 3.
But yeah, so, and, you know, obviously my husband's, you know, he travels quite a lot too. So I just really enjoy it. I just will keep going. I think there are so many exciting projects.
And the way, another question regarding the influence of Saudi Arabia that get on you for your work, for example, what, from your previous experience and job, because you are doing this for a long time, what inspired you, or what changed from the time that you are here in Saudi, work-wise?
Well, there's a lot that has moved from all just being strategy and a lot on paper and temporary events to actually now beginning to realise, you know, and plan towards lots of permanent things. On the logistics side of the business, they are just frantically busy, which is fantastic. And their projects are really dynamic. It could be a museum project, it could be new work, it could be work going out for exhibition as well. I just see a pace picking up.
Yes,
that's all.
absolutely.
It's just, it was already pretty speedy.
Yeah.
But, and I think it's quite terrifying actually for some, because here we think, oh no, it's another horrid timeline.
Yeah.
But it'll happen. And you all know that everything will get pulled out, and that the people here will also recognise that. You know, we all say either it'll be needed tomorrow, or we might not hear anything for months or a year or whatever. But I've actually approached some other, because that's where the event was ultimately going to be held, for a Saudi event in another country, where I knew people and companies said, could you put a quote in for this? We need that, we need that.
Yeah.
And they just went, we can't do it. Not in that time. They don't work to the same time frame that we do.
This is the same speed.
But things happen.
Yeah. Actually, I have a question. Are you an artist yourself?
Well, it was one of my dilemmas. It was like, do I want to be an artist or but then, and I did consider going to art college and apply and as well and get in. But I was actually I have some friends who were extraordinary artists who just had another way of thinking, totally another approach. And I just thought, I'm never going to have, I don't feel I have that.
Okay.
But I always knew that I loved arts and history of art. So when I started sort of my first degree, I thought, yes, I've always, you know, it's always been creative.
Yeah.
I think that helps enormously
Yes,
in working and ensuring that artists' visions are adhered to. We find a way to do just that, not can't be done, never been done.
True.
Because invariably it's never been done.
Sure.
It's something unique of a scale, whatever. So I love working with them.
Okay.
with artists. Never
But you never tried
cease to
yourself
be
with-
to admire them, and I always can always think, and this does need a huge intake of bravery for those that are commissioning these artworks. I was like, I have on certain project, I have no idea what they'll come up with, but it will be something
Yeah,
extraordinary.
very good.
And that's what is the exciting part of it.
Very good. So, but just I want an answer to my question. So, have you been trying to paint, or maybe I don't know any other art, like a music?
see.
Or you said you are writing. Are you taking it to the step of being?
No,
a
published
book?
or anything like
Yeah.
that. No.
No.
But it's very much sort of in my idea, and it would be the written word, actually. So I'm
We are looking
I'm
forward.
writing things
Yeah.
down, but artist books is another thing that I'm passionate about, but artist designed
Yeah.
books as well. So maybe I get to write something with that and work on
Let
those as
let
well.
us know when the first book is
I will
out. We
definitely,
really
I'll be
want to
here.
know about this. Sarah, if you had an advice from the younger Sarah, or let's say the wiser Sarah to the younger Sarah, what would that be? Maybe something that you said to your daughter already?
Exactly. It is something that I have always said to my children as well, is it might not necessarily be on a plan. And I know some people who have a plan. I want one of these, I want a boy and a girl and this and that. It might not be on your plan or what you think when you start in your career. I thought I'd work in Old Masters. But if it's intriguing and interesting, give it a go.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
Of course, some are born with a vocation, amazing doctor or something like that. But they'll have another creative way of thinking.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I just do say, give it a go. Because,
We
things,
cannot miss it.
we
yeah.
can't miss it
Yeah.
as well. And that was one
As
of
you
the
said,
things.
especially
moving
now,
here.
everything go fast. The technology is here. If we miss it, I think it's difficult then for reconstruction for the young generation. They are potentially not as strong as we are, or we were, in terms of determination or.
No, I mean, there is a level of expectation, but also I think that it's tough for them.
Yeah.
Because they'll come out of school and they're practically expected to have a CV.
Yeah.
You think, when are they
Yeah.
supposed to play?
Yeah.
When are they supposed to be having quiet study? When are they supposed to just chill with their friends, Instead, oh no, I've got to do an internship here, I've got to do that, I've got to do this, because they come out and they've got to have that
True.
for the jobs. And I think that's really tough on them. But I also think that in generations gone by, you might just work for one company all your life,
Yeah.
do one particular thing, which of course is lovely. But nowadays, there's this and there's that, and
Yeah.
there's this zigzag along the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I didn't plan public art at all. But I sort of
Yeah.
went along like that. I didn't sort of plan that I was coming here, but was offered an opportunity. And I thought, it was COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody was sort of like behind their doors.
Yeah.
And I just thought, this is an exciting place. I need to know more.
And here we are still.
Yeah, exactly. So
Very good.
be brave.
Yes,
Be brave.
Be brave, and as you said, it's not because we don't follow the plan that it's a fail or it's wrong.
No, I agree, and that was one of the other things I'd write to I'd want to say to my younger self, keep going.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's just
it
okay.
might be really hard at times.
Yeah.
But actually, maybe the message is there's another direction coming
Absolutely.
along.
And sometimes we might think that, I took the wrong direction or decision. And then obviously it might, a couple of years later, you realize that was probably the best decision or direction you took at that time. So Sarah, just to finish this very interesting conversation, if you had something to say to someone from your country who wants to come to Saudi, what would be the three main words?
Adventure, unique, and inspiring.
Voilà. Amazing. Sarah, it was an absolute pleasure to have you here. As we said, it was a long due date.
Yeah,
we have it here
exactly.
on the cameras, and learning about your past was amazing. I'm sure that there is a lot of other stories. We will follow up on this one. We want to see the book and everything.
As we go to the Lemon.
Yes,
to see the
I will
lemons
take
as well,
you to
yeah.
Ofuf, absolutely. Now it's on camera anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. No backing out. We'll just have to find more.
And thank you again for your kind
Thank you.
words and sharing with us very inspiring journeys such as yours. And good luck for all the other projects you have coming up.
Thank you. And I'm intrigued and really looking forward to hearing the other podcasts of those that you were mentioning. So
Yes, we
I will
will
be
have a
listening
nice
in.
series of profile, and
Yeah.
you will be the first one that the link will be sent.
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.